falling into place with my choreography for my 12-week burlesque challenge. We are on week 9 now, and work has been chaotic, so trying to fit in burlesque with that has been really difficult. But I've made sure this week in my time off that I have hit the choreo really hard, and I pretty much have the whole act pieced together. The first third, I would say, is complete. I'm happy, all of the choreography is together and I know what I'm doing and it feels good and it's looking good. The other 2/3 are kind of there. Things need polishing up, so in between certain moves I'm kind of just wandering around, and I need to really make the most out of those little parts in between the peels. So that's what's going to come next for me. So I thought this would be a good time to talk to you all about how I choreograph routines, and it may help you choreographing your burlesque routines. So let's get straight into it with what I do, and we'll try and break it down into stages. So when I'm choreographing a burlesque routine, the first thing I like to do is think about the character that I want to portray and how that works in with the music that I've chosen. And it's really important that you convey the right character with the right type of music. You don't want to be sort of conflicting. Burlesque is really about telling a story, so you really do have to put that across to the audience, and the best way to do that is to get into a character. Think about how your character would move to that music. What are your character's motives? What do they enjoy? You know, what is feeding your character? So that's where I first start. The next thing that I do, or at the same time really, is I listen to my music absolutely everywhere I go. So I know that music inside out, and I know what pieces of that music kind of lend themselves to certain peels in the choreography. So then I can kind of map out, right, at this point I'm going to remove a glove. At this point the corset is going to come off. So you kind of have those trigger moments in your music that are set in stone, and then you just need to kind of choreograph the moments in between then. What happens next is I'll do a little bit of research, maybe into dance genres, choreographed dances, burlesque techniques that maybe I like that might be useful in my act, or that I can tweak things somehow to work in with what I'm doing. This is a great way to get inspiration as well, and to kind of get you heading in the right direction. Once I've got all of those things happening and in place, I will just put my music on and just move to the music. Not thinking about it too much, just improvise and go with the music, whatever happens in the moment. If it feels good, then I will record myself doing that move, and if it looks good, I know I've got it and I will keep that. So that's kind of how I work through. I record everything that I do, watch it back. If it's good, I keep it. If it's not, I lose it. Once I've got these sort of individual moves that I really like, I will then start choreographing kind of in about 30-second splits of the song. So I'll start maybe with the first 30 seconds and run just through that section, thinking about the moves that I want to use in it and linking between those moves, more choreography, so everything meshes together. Once I'm happy with that first 30 seconds, I'll record myself. I will repeat until it's in my head. Then I will move on to the next 30 seconds and do the whole process all over again. Generally, once I've moved on to the next 30 seconds and that's in my head, I run through the first full minute so that I can get that into my muscle memory. Rather than having these little segments, they then mesh together. So then once I've done that first full minute, I will move on to the next 30 seconds of the choreo. When that's complete, I piece together the full minute and a half, run that through, rehearse that, make sure I'm happy with that, then move on to the next 30 seconds of the music. And then once you have your full routine base put together, there may be some things that you're like, oh, I'm just kind of wandering around here, I don't really know what I'm doing in that moment. Don't worry about that. At this point we're just going to get the basics together, the framework, to then tweak and hone and just make things a bit more polished and a bit more sort of professional looking, if you like. So for this to happen, you need to just repeat. Repetition is key to remembering this, so just keep repeating it until you have all of those moves that you do like embedded in you. Then you can really focus on the bits that go between and getting those all polished and nice as well. Once you've got that full routine base in place and you've recorded it and you're feeling kind of happy with it, you can then do a full costume run through. Now you may find when you bring in the costume, there will be elements of the act that seem to no longer work. So for example, the time that you've given yourself to remove a corset may not be long enough. So you can kind of tweak those little things so they actually work with the costume. Once you've made those tweaks, you will then run it through again and again and again. Like I said, repetition is key. Videoing everything, watching it all back, that is all key. And it's at this point as well you can kind of start bringing in more of the facial expressions and the little mannerisms, the little things that will just take your act up to that next level. And remember, the more that goes wrong in your rehearsals, the better, because it's less likely to go wrong on stage then, because you have that chance to realise, for example, I've had before I've taken a belt off and it's got a little hook and I've dropped it down behind me slowly and it's caught on my fishnet tights. And so in having that moment of realising, right, I actually need to hold this away from me a bit more while I drop this down to the floor so that it doesn't catch on my tights. It's those moments like that that give you the opportunity to make those adjustments, and you really do remember them. When they go wrong, they stick in your head. So yeah, the more that goes wrong in rehearsal, the less likely it will go wrong on stage. Once you're happy with your routine, you'll then want to video the whole act so that you can apply for castings. When you're doing this recording, you want to act as though the audience is there watching you and that the camera is one of the audience members as well. So you're making eye contact, you're playing up to the audience. Make sure that the camera frame can see everything that you're doing. So if you're working with fans, you want to be able to see, you know, the height where the fan goes up towards the ceiling, out to the sides. It's capturing all of your movements. If you have someone to video you and move around and make it more dynamic, that is great as well. But a static video, just having the full frame shot is absolutely fine. It is enough. Just remember, as when you're on stage, to give those full facial expressions. I know when we're rehearsing we don't give it all. We're busy concentrating on remembering what we're doing, we're preserving some energy so that we can repeat and do it over and over again. So yeah, just make sure that this is as if you're up on stage and you just give everything you've got for this video recording. And it's really important to remember, when you are applying for castings, try not to feel too disheartened if you don't get the gig, because it could be that they've already fully casted for it and there's no room anymore, you're a little bit too late. It could be that you don't suit that particular show that they're doing, so that maybe it has a slight theme or a type of audience that likes, you know, certain genre more than the other, or they've already got an act that's very similar to yours and they don't want, you know, 2 fan acts or, you know, 2 balloon pops or, you know, whatever it is. There's always something like that. And also, if they do give you feedback, listen to it. You know, constructive criticism can be a really great thing for you levelling up. I know it's difficult, it's really hard, and I myself hate that feeling. You know, I really have a big fear of rejection in all aspects of my life, really. And so that has put me off a lot for applying for castings over the year, and I've been extremely lucky that I have had shows just kind of land in my lap, and I am forever thankful for the people that have offered me that work. But now this stage that I'm coming into and returning to Burlesque, I really want to kind of push myself out of that comfort zone and start applying for the castings. And so I also need to remember not to take these things to heart. If you do get rejections, move on. There's other shows to apply for, you know, and if something's not right, fix it. But yeah, wishing you all the best of luck if you are applying for shows yourself. It's nice to know that we're not all alone and we all feel the same way about it, and we all, you know, get those little nerves as well. But yeah, I hope you found this helpful. If you haven't subscribed to my channel already, please do. We're on week 9 of the 12-week Burlesque challenge, so we're so close to the finish line. So close to getting the photos of the act and the video of the act and applying for castings. Oh my god, 3 weeks left. That's really terrifying. I try not to think about it. So yeah, subscribe to my channel and it will be good. We'll get there. We'll get there. You know, it's thanks to you guys that I've got this far so far, and I haven't quit, and you know, only 3 weeks left. I'm not going to quit. I'm going to get this done. I've been hitting it really hard so that I can get this done. And yeah, the scariest bit is to come, but I haven't done all of this to not do that scary bit.